All right, so here's my genuine concern for the future of AI. First, let me start off by saying I'm a fan of AI. I use AI almost every day. I use ChatGPT. I use all these different other AI tools, just like most other people, especially in tech. AI is a very valuable tool, especially for developers. It's very helpful. It can help us accelerate our processes a lot quicker, work more efficiently. But that doesn't mean that I don't have concerns for the future of it. This episode is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be kind of a tinfoil hat one. There are tons of movies and TV shows out there that are about AI, but they show how it ultimately leads to the destruction of humanity. Now, how many of you remember the movie The Matrix? Most people think that movie is about us being in a simulation, which is true, but some people, I feel like they forget that it's actually, what it's really about is AI and how AI put us in a simulation. Now, there's a scene in The Matrix, the very first one, where Neo and Morpheus are talking, and it's when Morpheus is explaining to Neo for the first time how all of this came to be. In that conversation, he says to Neo, "You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today. We only have bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI." Then Morpheus goes a bit further and explains, AI is a singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them. He said at the time they were dependent on solar power and that it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun. And throughout human history, we have been dependent on machines to survive. And it gets a little bit more interesting. He says that the human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120 volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. So essentially, in the movie, the machines are using humans as their battery and power source. And to keep us docile, they keep the remaining humans in a simulation. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen in the future, but what I am saying is that AI is accelerating and evolving faster than most of us think. Elon Musk already has robots, and he's probably going to release them soon. I know I'm not the only one out there when I say this, but I'm genuinely concerned for the future of the human race regarding AI. You know, what happens when they become sentient? Or what if people can start hacking them, making them do stuff that they shouldn't be doing, you know? There's plenty of other movies out there. There's Ex Machina, which is a great one. I, Robot, of course. And the most famous one of all, arguably, is The Terminator, right? Now, the interesting thing about Terminator is that the AI is called Skynet. And what happened was Skynet became self-aware. And when humans tried to deactivate it, it prompted to retaliate with a nuclear attack on humans, which is called Judgment Day in the series. I don't know, maybe all these movies and TV shows and media, it's predictive programming, right? I don't know how many of you out there know what that is, but it's the idea that the media is used to condition the public to accept planned future events. Just like with all these disaster movies, you know, it's all cognitive and psychological. But did you know that now you can buy a 4-foot tall humanoid robot for just 16 grand? And it can literally cook and clean for you. They're called the Unit Tree G1, and I believe they're made from China. It can even do martial arts. There's videos of it on YouTube doing karate kicks and karate chopping bottle caps, stuff like that. But the fact that it exists and it can do these certain things, especially, you know, cleaning and cooking for you, tells us how far we've come and tells us the capabilities and the potential that they have, especially for the future. And these things, they don't have emotion, they don't have empathy or sympathy. They're obviously not human. They're programmed to behave a certain way. You can teach it new things, yes, but at the end of the day, they're not human, and I feel like they can potentially be dangerous long term. And it's not just that. I feel like eventually people are going to be dating robots more than they're dating other humans. That's definitely going to be a thing, right? We're probably going to start using them in the military. Robots, AI that accept orders, that won't talk back, won't argue with you. They will literally do as they're told. But the fact that they'll be holding weapons is kind of a scary thought. I know that's going to be way down the line, but still. And going back to the Terminator, what's interesting is the stealth bombers are upgraded with Cyberdyne computers. And Cyberdyne was the company that made Skynet. And fun fact, I used to protect stealth bombers. And it made me think like, whoa. But in Terminator, these Cyberdyne computers would make these stealth bombers fully unmanned and resulted in perfect operations. The Skynet funding bill gets passed in U.S. Congress, and the system goes online, removing human decisions from strategic defense. Then what happens? Skynet begins to learn rapidly and then becomes self-aware and then annihilates all humans. You guys might not be scared now because you might be thinking, oh, right now all we have is ChatGPT and this and that, and it's nowhere near that yet. But no, guys, these Tesla robots are real. These other robots in China that you can buy for $16,000 are real. Things are accelerating and things are moving faster than we think. There's always going to be more iterations, more evolution. They're going to become more and more advanced faster. I used to think when I was a kid that we would see flying cars by now, but at this rate, I know for a fact we're going to see more robots. Stuff like iRobot is going to become more of a reality before we even see flying cars. Anthropic just released and upgraded their new version of Claude, and it's called Computer Use. Essentially what this is agentic AI. So you can tell it to use computers the same way that people do, by looking at a screen, moving a cursor, clicking buttons, and typing text. Essentially, it can take control of your computer while you're watching, of course, but it's very exciting, but it's also kind of scary at the same time. Nowadays, you can automate almost everything with AI. So imagine what we'll be capable of doing next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I'm telling you, it's going to become a quicker reality than you think. AI is the hottest next thing in tech right now. And these days, it's currently the big race in Silicon Valley. We're still in the early stages of this technology, but I just know that this stuff is going to accelerate faster than we think. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope, none of this stuff becomes dangerous long term for any of us. But what happens when they become sentient? What happens when they can actually think for themselves, When they can make their own decisions? What happens when they say, oh, we don't need humans anymore. We're superior to them. Keep your shotguns and buckshots ready. All jokes aside, though, another downside to all of this is it's going to make humans lazy. Like Elon Musk's new Tesla Optimus robot, it can do chores for you. So humans are inevitably just going to have robots automate and do everything for them, therefore making them lazy. Yes, it can help you make your life easier, make you more productive in certain ways, but eventually humans, I feel like, might devolve and forget how to do certain things, like forget how to cook, forget how to clean, forget how to teach their children how to do this and that, I'm just throwing examples out there. And I don't know how many of you have watched the movie Dune, especially the second one, which is amazing, by the way. But fun fact about it, I learned that they mentioned how in the universe of Dune, AI had become so advanced, they actually, I think, became dangerous to humans. So humans inevitably destroyed the AI, but because how advanced they are and because of how devolved they became, they actually had to evolve and adapt and be more efficient without AI. That's why one of the characters, I forgot his name, but in the first one, he was able to calculate how far they traveled in his own head to tell his leader. It was that scene where he rolled his eyes back and then he told the Atreides leader the amount of miles or whatever they traveled. But yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts on, my concern for the future of AI and humanity. So please let me know your thoughts. Leave the comments down below. And thanks for listening.